Do you have a lot of gas, distension, digestive distress, bloating? In this video, I'm going to uncover for you how to stop bloating fast. Hi, I'm Dr. Zarowski from NewVisionExcel.com. If you want to excel your health and your life, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell notification and you'll be well on your way. In this video, we're discussing how you can stop bloating. So there's so many people who wake up in the morning and their stomachs are all bloated and distended, or maybe even after every meal their stomachs are bloated and distended and they don't know why. So what I'm going to tell you first of all is that people who have compromised gastrointestinal systems, people who have a compromised gut, are more likely to be bloated than those who don't. If you're someone who, you find that you have a lot of gastrointestinal pain, maybe you've been diagnosed with a condition, then there's a good chance that there's you have a compromised gut and you're going to have bloating more than other people. But I'm here to give you some solutions. But what we're going to do is we're first going to talk about the common foods, the common things that cause bloating, and then we'll talk about solutions next, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into the very things here that are causing you to have bloating on a daily basis. Now, food sensitivities is a big one. So food sensitivity testing, also known as IgG testing, is essentially looking for foods that are causing your gut to have distress, causing your immune system to respond poorly to the foods. Now, when we look at food sensitivities, a lot of people think of dairy, they think of wheat, they think of these big ones that really disrupt a lot of people. But the problem is that when it comes to food sensitivities, it can be things that aren't so common that are bothering you. It could be pepper, it could be beans, it could be strawberries, it really could be your favorite health food. And when you are sensitive to it, essentially what's going to happen is it's going to cause your gut to have a poor response. It can cause bloating, digestive distress, and a lot of other issues. So food sensitivities is a big one. Now, as I mentioned, you can test for food sensitivities, or the other thing that I recommend to people all the time, they say, well, I don't really have the money to do those food sensitivity tests. What I recommend for them to do is keep a food journal, and what you can do is correlate bloating with the foods that you have eaten. And when you can identify the foods you have eaten and identify when you were bloated, then you can find that correlation and you can remove them. So let's move on. Sugary foods and drinks. So there's a couple things to be said here. So sugary foods, for one, are going to just feed that bacterial overgrowth problem in the gut. And when you have those sugary foods and you have bacterial overgrowth, essentially what's going to happen is you're just going to have a ton of bloating. And it can be after every time you have any type of sugary food. So you got to really take and mitigate those sugary foods in order to mitigate the bloating. Now, as far as drinks go, when you are consuming any type of carbonated beverages, that is without a doubt going to cause you to have bloating. So if you want to avoid the bloating, then avoid the carbonated beverages, because that is a huge contributor and it's very easily correlated. Now, the next big one is refined grains. So refined grains have something called disaccharides, and when you have a compromised gut, or maybe some people just don't do well with the grains, what happens is that your body's unable to break down those disaccharides, and then they contribute to that bloating, that fermenting process, and cause a lot of gas, and then there you have it. Next big one is dairy, okay? So this topic is something that everybody, gets a little confused on, because, for some people, they shouldn't have dairy at all. It doesn't sit well with them. It doesn't do good things for them. And, they have dairy and they're running to the bathroom, whatever problem that they have. But in many cases, it's going to cause bloating for them. And especially if you have it at night and it ferments in your stomach all night, then in the morning you wake up with just tons of bloating and pain and discomfort. So when we look at the topic of dairy, I am a supporter of eating good quality grass-fed organic dairy that's non-pasteurized, non-homogenized, and the reason for that is because when you consume that dairy, it has the good quality probiotics, the good quality enzymes in it, and it's able to be digested much better. Now, when dairy is heated up really hot and pasteurized, you're going to break down those enzymes, so that you're not even able to, utilize the enzymes that are the good quality enzymes that are in that dairy product. So once again, avoid all conventional dairy products, but however, if you can handle dairy just fine, then go ahead and use good grass-fed raw dairy. Now, and by the way, on the topic of dairy, I'll give you a couple solutions in the solution section as to how you can actually consume dairy if you're someone who has not been able to consume it in years. Now, the next big one is cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous vegetables such as cabbage, such as broccoli, they're hard for our bodies to break down. And they have a sugar in them that is hard for our bodies to break down. So what we can do is almost in a way pre-digest them before we eat them. And one of the ways, there's a couple ways you can do this. So for one, you can ferment them. So taking things such as cabbage and turning it into sauerkraut, or broccoli and fermenting it the same way that you would do sauerkraut. So using some acids, some good quality sea salts, and fermenting these vegetables down is one great way to make them more digestible and actually make the phytonutrients within them more readily available. So fermenting is one good way. Another good way is to boil them in bone broth. And last if not least, steaming them is a great way to just to help break them down so that your body can break them down much easier. But if you eat these cruciferous vegetables raw, then a lot of times you can have a negative reaction to them with a lot of bloating. And if you want a list of cruciferous vegetables, go ahead and in the description below, I'll put that in there. Now, let's talk about solutions. So we talked about a lot of the major problems that cause bloating. Let's talk about solutions. So for one, probiotics is a major solution to people who have bloating issues. Now, the reason for this is because when we have an imbalanced microbiome or an imbalanced bacterial levels within our gut, that can cause a lot of bloating. And then also probiotics, I mean, they play such a huge role in our body. They help boost our immune system. They help us actually make vitamins. They help us digest our food. They help keep the gastrointestinal lining repaired and functioning properly. So probiotics help in so many different ways, but they're also going to help with that bloating process. So take probiotics, you're going to find some relief in many cases with the bloating. The next big one is enzymes, so digestive enzymes. So I mentioned you before, like, oh, with the dairy, I'll give you, a potential solution, I should say, and that is taking enzymes. So what enzymes are is they are in our gut and they help us break down our food. So if you lack specific enzymes to break down dairy, your body's not able to break it down and digest it. If you lack the enzymes to break down fruits and vegetables, then you have issues with that too. So people who have enzyme deficiencies within their gut, they essentially have a problem breaking down a lot of food. And what it happens from there is this food sits in the gut, it causes fermentation, it causes putrefaction and almost like a rotting. And so we want to make sure that we have proper enzymes in our gut in order to digest the foods that we're eating. And just like it kind of is along the same lines as probiotics, when you are buying fruits and vegetables and all the food from the store, what happens is these foods are so clean that they essentially lack the good probiotics on them. They lack the good enzymes, and we're just not eating from the land like we used to. We're not eating from our gardens like we used to. And it's great that our food is clean from the store, but then of course it also causes a little bit of a problem for us too. So if you're someone who has a lot of bloating, a lot of gastrointestinal distress, you may need to take some enzymes. So take enzymes before your meals and it'll help you digest them better. Next big one is peppermint oil. So peppermint oil is just an essential oil that has been scientifically proven to help with gastrointestinal distress and bloating. You can just put a couple drops in some water and consume it that way. Very simple, but peppermint oil is great, so try that one out. The next big one is chamomile, and you can use chamomile in order to help you with gastrointestinal distress and bloating as well. And as a matter of fact, you can buy teas that have chamomile, they'll have fennel, they'll have peppermint, and it's really a great combination in order to help with gastrointestinal distress altogether. So this pretty much wraps it up, guys, on how to reduce bloating naturally. And first of all, you got to avoid these things and then incorporate these things. Now, like I said before, the people who have bloating in many cases have a compromised GI tract, okay? So make sure that you're implementing these things right here. And I also have a super powerful video that you can also find here on YouTube, and that will teach you how to go in and heal your GI tract, heal your digestion. And then last if not least, in the comment section below, guys, I would love for you to post video ideas for me to do in the future. Or if you have any questions on this topic or any other questions, post in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, love to get that communication started. And until next time, make it a great day.